Okay, not too much preamble today. Let's just get on with it. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to be looking at these three little things. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. No, we shouldn't be so practical and harsh about these elemental aspects of life and energy. Let's talk about the magic of air, distribution, ducted aircon, the essence of lightfulness, smart lights, and the glory of an elevating sleeping device. Ceiling bed. Let's get on with it. All right, so while I'm waiting to sort of finalize my bump out, I started thinking about the cantilever bed that we're going to have, and how we wanted this kind of ceiling bed that kind of pushes up into the roof and frees up the space for us to use it. So I went and I built this little model, and just to sort of get a sense of how everything would work. So I had bought this piece of fitness equipment a while back, and with the intention of kind of using all the components for at least sort of as a guide to sort of figure out how to build the thing. And so yeah, we wanted to have obviously a bed that, when it was down, you could just simply lift it up, and wherever you put it, it would just stay in place. Thus the counterbalance system, so the weight is even on both sides. And so yeah, no matter what, it's not going to sort of suddenly fall on you or suddenly snap into the ceiling. And so this was my first go at it, just using my old Wally Dolly skateboard wheels that I used to have for my dolly setup. And yeah, so I mean, in principle, this very, very simple thing, does what it's supposed to do. Now, talking to Heidi, of course, we came to the realization that all this kind of structure and so on, which would require quite a lot of metal pieces and infrastructure and a lot of load weight calculations and engineering. And we were doing it all really just for the aesthetic of having this kind of, sort of sense that this thing is just sort of floating, jutting out into the bedroom kind of thing. When in fact we could just put cables on each corner, and it ends up being a much simpler design. So yeah, after all this model building, we've come up with a much simpler solution, but yeah, a bit of a different one. But we'll see, it'll be a lot cheaper and should do the same job. All right, I don't usually do unboxing videos, but I received a box today from Amazon with some goodies that I think are going to be some new lights. So let's do an unboxing. We have the Philips Hue selection, and these are their brand new lights. They're sort of more low profile, and they've got plugs instead of the old one where you had to have them hardwired. And these are the new generation of the new lights. So yeah, kind of excited to see how these work. Let's have a look. They're a little bit smaller profile than the other ones that I have. So the big difference with these is that they can be just plugged straight in, and so you don't need any fancy hardwiring by electricians. So as you can see, these are the original ones that we got. Much more substantial lights. Really sort of got a classy look. I like the little silver trim on them. Big controller box compared to these newer ones, which are a fair bit smaller. The controller and then the power cable, and these ones obviously need to be wired in straight away. But yeah, I mean, they're comparable in price actually, so I'm kind of a little bit surprised because these ones do seem to be a little bit higher quality. All right, so I did a unboxing for our Philips Hue smart lights a little while back before we kind of got into the building of this bedroom area. And I'm sure there's lots of people that use smart lights, and I'm sure I'm not breaking any new ground by mentioning any of this stuff, but if you haven't really looked into smart lights or whatever, and then yeah, you can kind of see the benefits and the way that we've done it. All right, so let's have a look at one of these. So I've sort of installed them for the time being, but you know, like all down lights, they just kind of clip in these days, which is really nice. What I like about these being plug-in is that we were able to install the lights ourselves here by just putting in one of these items from Clipsal, which is just basically putting a socket anywhere along a power cord that you wanted, and it's safely locked inside of the unit. So if you ever want to replace the light, it's just a matter of unplugging and plugging in a new one, provided you get one that obviously plugs in, and it's easy. And with the new light in place, so yeah, pretty cool. The thing I also like about these new Hue lights is that they also run quite cool, so there's not a lot of worry about, even though we've got lots of headroom up in the lighting box that I've created here, there isn't a lot of concern about temperature because the lights run quite cool. And so, as you can see, it just splits the wires in the middle. You basically just can pull back the sheath of the cable, and then stick the individual wires in here, and then it kind of clamps down and cuts into across the outer sheath of the individual wires as you clamp it shut. I found that you still have to open it up and then maybe just kind of make sure that those things are contacting properly, but really it's kind of a neat idea. I was thinking that I was going to be doing a lot more lighting with these things at some point, so if you need any, I happen to have a lot of them. So just let me know if you want to buy some at a discounted price from me. The other thing you're going to need is, to make things easier, is a Wi-Fi router. And this is the unit that comes with the Hue starter pack. So that's basically the thing that communicates with those little boxes on the lights, the little controller box. And then that in turn plugs into the Wi-Fi router, so that you can pretty much be anywhere in the house and with your mobile, you can use that to control the lights and everything. And also, obviously, if you've wired in such a way that you're online, that means that you can be anywhere pretty much in the world, as long as you can access your router remotely and control things remotely that way as well. So you can obviously, part of the thing obviously with these systems is that you can add security cameras and security lights and smart locks on your doors so you can see who's coming, and video access points and all these kind of things. So we're just sort of starting with the lights at this point, but yeah, there's obviously a lot of benefits to the whole connectivity aspect. All right, so let's have a quick look at the lights and see how this all works. All right, so let's have a look at this. As we can see in the Hue app, we can create different rooms, and I've created one called bedroom, and we can look inside the bedroom page, and you can see the lights are off at the moment. If we go back to here, if I switch on, I've got them listed by Heidi and Mike side, H and M. If I switch on M1, we can see that light comes on. So you can see that I can also turn all the lights on in one go. So that's the whole room in one shot. And similarly, like while I've got that, the actual app also has the ability to dim the lights using this dimmer. So yeah, obviously you get instantaneous response from that, which is pretty cool. So in here we can also see that we've also got these different scene settings. So I can also change the color temperature of the lights so it can be much cooler, warmer, and then we can also just play around with the colors here dynamically. Sorry, it's a little bit tricky to film while you're trying to operate the camera. I have to use my digital SLR to film that because I usually film everything on my phone. Anyways, you can get the idea. It's quite dynamic, and that was just kind of the basics. We didn't get the full color spectrum lights. We just got the ones that allow for the full white spectrum. Or you can have those different settings of ambience for getting ready for bed, you know, warmer light, get you in those circadian rhythms and so on to kind of set you off to sleep and so on. So, yeah, kind of neat. I like the idea. We haven't touched on it at all with the fact that you can do voice control, so I can tell the lights to turn on. So give it a try. Hey Siri, turn on bedroom lights. There you go. On top of that, you can obviously program it for times, so at a certain time of the day, the lights can kind of change. You can have things gradually shift from one to the other. You could have like a night light mode, like I was showing you for if you had to get up or whatever. Again, those can be programmed into a button or voice control and so on. So yeah, there's lots of neat options for that. I can come home. I can have a geo-tagging system set up where it knows by my phone when I'm, say, like 50 meters from the house. Then I can have it programmed so all the lights come on for a particular mode when I get home, like a kind of getting home kind of lighting setup. Also, I can have it set up so I can have certain moods set up in one shot for the whole house. So I can say, guest lighting or whatever. And like you can have all sorts of things trigger. So I also picked up these little remote controls. They sit on the wall in a magnetic holder, so you can just pop them out if you want to use them as a remote controller. They can just sit on the wall like an actual light switch. This will take the place of the switch. As you can see, the lights are off right now. I can just switch them on with the remote control. That switches everything on. There's also the ability to kind of to dim, so I can use this as a dimmer. And it also has the ability to, if I use this, I can have 5 pre-programmed settings as well, depending on how many clicks I do. So if I do another click, different setting, one more, cooler, kind of brighter light, got a dimmer on there, and then it'll go back around to the original setting again. So yeah, very handy if you don't want to have to use your phone or something like that, just like a normal light switch. So yeah, anyways, I like all the tech kind of thing. Heidi's probably not doesn't care as much about it, but I think it's kind of cool. Anyways, we should have a lot of fun with it, I'm sure. All right, so one thing I've been doing just recently is working on my floor here, as you can see, and I've got my air conditioning ducting in my hand. Interesting. What are you doing with that, Mike? Well, as it happens, I have drilled a few holes in the floor to put my air conditioning under the floor. Yes, we're going to actually have ducted aircon, something I thought was a bit of a luxury initially, but it turns out that some caravan suppliers do some really interesting stuff for caravans, and it's actually quite applicable to tiny houses. So we thought instead of having a big wall unit and a big outside condenser unit and so on, well, why not have one smaller thing that lives under the floor and just sends the air up through little ducts in the walls. That's very nice, isn't it? So here I have created some holes. This is the ducting, some of the ducting in question. And it's not insulated, but I'll be able to put a bit of insulation up. It's only a very short run. You might actually be able to see. We go down the rabbit hole. Ooh, I can't go all the way down. Anyways, the unit in question is just right around the corner there. And so we'll have duct that'll go up here on top of this and that's the back of the stairs into the bedroom. And yeah, then we'll have a bit of ducting that will snake up here inside this wall, and that'll be up top in the kitchen, facing to the kitchen, and this one will snake up here through this happy little conduit and pop out in the lounge room. So conveniently, we have a little box that lives underneath the van here that is the perfect size for my little air conditioner. So it originally looked like this when I was starting to prepare it, and now we have this, which is much tidier. So I've cut out my holes for my various things that will be dropping out of the bottom there, the condensation and air intake and output, and then our space for our 3 duct pipes. And then as you can see, now we're looking from the bottom, there's our 3 holes. So pretty short run. All right, I'm back under the trailer, doing the rest of my install for my air conditioning. Works perfectly here because it's close to where my ducting has to go up into the pan, and I've filled it with some insulation so that yeah, obviously keeps it running at a nice temperature during the hot days. All my pipes are insulated. I've got ducting, an outflow inline fan that I've put in, as you've probably seen. So we're ready to install. Sorry, the wind's kicking up now. We're ready to install the air conditioner. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
So the air conditioner I've chosen is this Truma. It's actually made for caravans, and but because we're considered a caravan by legal standards, and it's a small space, very well insulated, it should actually work quite well. So we'll see. If I've done all my measurements correct, all these holes should line up with holes on the bottom of the unit. Let's hope. So one of the things I liked about this unit as well is that it's pretty small. It's like it's only like about 600 by 400, and it's, you know, so much smaller than the condenser and wall unit combined that you have to have on normal air conditioning units. Of course, we'll have to see if it works as well. Staking a lot on this, being that I've cut lots of holes in the pan and stuff like that to hopefully that we'll have ducted aircon, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see why it shouldn't work. End of another work day.